over the last few years, I have heard painful Dokkan story after painful Dokkan story. And I've seen it with my own eyes too. I've seen the simplest mistakes or the simplest misconceptions do everything from completely ruining your Dokkan experience to having your account completely lost to the abyss, serving as nothing more than a painful memory of things that you should have done when you had your account. And if you look at the content on my channel, most of it serves, I mean, we've been, branching out recently, but most of it serves to help you with your Dokkan experience. And after hearing and seeing all of these stories, I finally decided to compile almost all of them that I can think of into one video of things that you should never do or things that you have to do when you're playing Dokkan, unless you're going to end up playing yourself. And if you're watching, I can't have you do that, all right? I love you too much, okay? I've seen the pain, I've seen the other side. Trust me when I say you're going to want to listen to everything I mention in this video. Some things are more important than others, but again, I've seen the pain, and I do not want you to experience that. Hopefully, you're having a great day. Let's hop into the number one thing, or the first thing I should say. Actually, no, it is the number one thing that you should never do in Dokkan, and that is do anything in this game without having your account linked to something. How do you do that? Click on menu, click on data linking and backup, and do as many of the options that you have there as possible. You don't understand what it's, for those that understand, you understand. But for others that have never lost their account, you couldn't even imagine what it's like spending a lot of money in this game if you're a whale, or grinding your butt off for every single multi if you're free to play, because I've been on both sides of the occasion, and I'm telling you, I've lost a few accounts back in the day too, okay? It is not fun putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this game just for you to lose your account, or something happens to your phone, or whatever the case is, and now you need to transfer all your data, but there is nothing to transfer because you forgot to link up and you were too lazy. I understand that. Listen, I understand laziness, okay? I'm lazy to do a lot of things. I probably put up this video for like a few months, all right? But it's okay because we're here now, and that's all that matters. So I need you to go onto your phone right now, open up Dokkan, and link as many as you can. And the reason why I say as many as you can is because just a few months ago, there was an issue, I believe it was with Facebook account linking, and I believe, I can't remember like off the top of my head right now, but I believe a few accounts were either lost or a lot of people were having issues with their Dokkan account because of something that you can't control. So you may never say, but Mr. Baby, I'm never going to delete Dokkan off my device. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. But you have to understand, all right? You are, at the end of the day, just depending on all these services to work. Or if you just use Apple, you're only depending on Apple to work. The more security layers you add, the safer your account is going to be. And it only matters at the end of the day if you really care about your account. If you don't care about your account, then do what you got to do. But if you do, there's nothing you should do in Dokkan before doing this. Or I should say, you should not do anything else in Dokkan until you do this. This is the number one thing. I don't care if you just made your account. I don't care if your account sucks. I don't care what you think about your account. Do this right here, all right? This is number one. Let's move on to number two. The next few will be regarding summoning, because summoning is essentially the biggest aspect of the game, right? And there's a lot of mistakes or misconceptions that I see players, I guess, practice all the time that ends up leaving them with a very, very salty taste in their mouth. And everything I'm telling you here at the end of the day is just the truth, okay? From things I've seen over and over again. And the first one that we're going to talk about right now is thinking the game owes you anything. And trust me, I know what it's like. During the 5th year anniversary, I had 3,000 stones to spend. Was it I don't think that was including tickets and freebies and stuff like that. 3,000 stones down the drain for one copy of Tech Vegito. And that's when I really learned that the game doesn't care about how many stones you have, alright? You can walk into a celebration with as many stones as you want. Don't think or don't just automatically assume that the amount of stones you have will be enough to pull the character that you want, right? And a lot of it boils down to expectation. The less you expect, the harder it is for you to actually be disappointed with something. And of course, the more you expect out of something or someone, the more disappointed you're just going to end up being. It works the same way with Dokkan. If you believe the game owes you something with 1,000 stones, you're going to be very disappointed, probably more often than not, because you see creators or you see your friends or people, you know, rainbow a character in like 5 multis, and then here's you spending 1,200 Dragonstones and you haven't gotten a single featured unit, right? It's painful. I've been there. Trust me when I say I've been there. The game does not owe you a single thing. So from here on out, if you have that expectation, drop it right now. This is a gacha game, essentially, where you are playing with chances. And when you play with chances, especially low chances, you're going to be disappointed more than you are actually, you know, happy. Unless you're just one of those people who have godly luck. But that's not me, and that's not many of you. And it is what it is, okay? The game doesn't owe you anything. So the next time you summon, have that in the back of your mind. Because I've seen so many players say, I spent 500 stones, I'm quitting. And trust me, when you grind up 500 stones and don't pull what you want, it is extremely infuriating. I buy Dragonstones now, but for the first 3 years, I was completely free to play. I know what it's like to grind up 1,000 free-to-play Dragonstones, or maybe even, you know, after losing an account, getting another account, grinding up everything, summoning, and not getting what I wanted. I have been there. I have felt that pain. You're not the only one. But the game doesn't owe you anything. It's a very simple mind thing, but it does leave a lot of players with a salty taste in their mouth when they really expect to pull something that the game, at the end of the day, doesn't care that you get or not. The game doesn't care about you. That's essentially what it is. The game doesn't care about you. I'm sorry to say it like that, but I'm here to deliver the truth at the end of the day. Let's move on to the third thing. There's also a crazy misconception that there is such a thing as enough Dragonstones. Unfortunately, that's not true, right? You can calculate the percentage chance of you pulling Boo, right, in the first multi. You go ahead and take a look at how many characters there are. You can add, subtract, look at the rates. You can do whatever you want, all right? But at the end of the day, there is no such thing as enough Dragonstones. There is okay, when it comes to summoning on Dokkan, each individual summon is dependent of each other. What that means is, when I do this multi on Boo, the next multi I do after that has no bearing or has not been influenced at all by the last multi I did. So there's no such thing as, oh, one more because Boo has to pop up eventually, right? No, that's not the way it works. If you spend 2,000 stones and don't get Boo, you can easily spend another 2,000 stones and still don't get Boo, or you still won't end up pulling Boo. There's no such thing as you'll eventually, quote unquote, pull him, right? In the sense of statistics, I mean. Obviously, if you summon all day, every day for the next 10 years, you'll eventually, quote unquote, get him, right? But in terms of summoning and thinking to yourself, oh, with 1,000 stones I didn't pull him, he has to eventually pop up, right? It doesn't necessarily work that way. Every summon has nothing to do with the next summon that you do, so you can essentially spend 10,000 Dragonstones and don't get Boo, or you just won't end up getting Boo. Again, it's very unlikely, but it's definitely possible. There's no such thing as enough amount of stones. Only Dokkan can tell you if your stone count is actually enough, and that's by simply giving you the character. It's all RNG at the end of the day. All right, it's not. If you really want a different way of thinking about it, just imagine a bag of marbles with one red marble, one blue marble, and one green marble, right? Let's say you're trying to summon for the red marble. If you pick a random marble out of the bag and you get the blue one, and you keep the blue one out of the bag, now your summon chances have completely changed because now there's only 2 marbles in the bag. So it went from a 33% chance to a 50% chance of you getting the red marble. But in Dokkan, it's not how it works. When you summon on Dokkan, what you're essentially doing is putting that blue marble back and you're trying again. So the chances for Boo remain the same no matter what. The game is not going to change or bend over for you. It's not the way it works. Dokkan can shaft you whenever they want to, which is why I always say the more stones you have, the better. Alright? The more stones you have doesn't increase your chances of getting Boo, but the more stones you have allow you to do more multis, which gives you more opportunities to get Boo. An increased chance and an increase in opportunity are 2 completely different things. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is very simple, and it's just not subscribing. I mean, first, if I don't promote, who's going to? The answer is no one. But I mean, look, the content, pretty much all of it is centered around helping you, and with the 8th anniversary coming up, we are covering absolutely everything. In terms of playlists here, you can see that we are expanding and we are offering different forms of content, more things coming soon, but I can't talk about that just yet. We have an 8th year anniversary playlist here, some Dokkan AI stuff if you really want to tap into that, community videos, which we're doing a lot more of, Discord link in the description, custom content, giving custom EZAs, showcasing custom characters, stuff like that. Again, we're definitely branching out this year, but the focus of the channel will always be the same, which is helping you have the best Dokkan experience possible. So you are essentially playing yourself if you don't stay up to date with the videos. I mean, I still love you. You don't have to subscribe, but I'm just letting you know that's number 4 on the list. Let's move on to number 5. This one is a very, very popular one, and I don't know why it happens, but I see it all the time, and I'm telling you right now, please, please, please don't make this mistake when you're summoning. A lot of players, when a banner first drops, they spend their 300-400 stones, they don't get a copy of Janemba that they really wanted, so they go into the Baba shop, they go to the corresponding coin shop, and then they buy a copy of Janemba because they don't have him, they didn't get him, okay. But what ends up happening, and I hear it all the time, is that same player will do another summon, and then boom, just end up getting Janemba. So they just bought Janemba because they didn't have him, they did more summons, and then got Janemba. The point here, or the moral of the story is never, ever, 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 ever spend any of your summon coins if you are not done summoning. I don't care if you summoned for the first day and you have no more Dragonstones. What ends up happening is you're going to get more Dragonstones as the celebration goes on, right? And the reason why it's such a big deal is because many players don't spend money on this game, which means that these coins are extremely valuable. 500 coins is the equivalent of 2,500 Dragonstones spent. So what you're essentially doing is spending 2,500 Dragonstones on one of these characters here just to do a multi and get him again, when you could have saved those coins for a different character that you didn't end up pulling or that you didn't have, right? So again, please make sure that when it comes to spending your coins, you have to wait until the banner is gone. Or sorry, when you are completely tapped out, you're completely done summoning, that is when you buy the coins out of the coin shop. And I'm just going to segue into the next point really quickly, which is buying dupes of characters before you buy a new character. And this is one of those ones that isn't really super important. Like, you play the game the way you want to when it comes to this concept or this topic here. But the reason why I say that is because a dupe of Goku and Frieza, sorry, I don't know why I said Goku and Frieza, a dupe of Golden Frieza here is obviously, I mean, a dupe for any character will obviously power up that character. The thing is that a dupe of Frieza will never, ever be more valuable than you getting a completely new character. A dupe of Frieza, what that's going to do is allow you to get maybe a few extra additionals, maybe a few extra crits, or crit chance, maybe a few extra dodge chance, stuff like that, a few extra stats. But you're impacting only one character, and if you really want to go a little bit further, sure, you are slightly impacting the team as a whole. But if you pull or buy a completely different character, you're not only impacting your box because now you have a completely new character, but now you have a completely new option for so many teams. So you have dramatically buffed your box by providing a completely new unit, and a lot of characters in Dokkan, or a lot of events in Dokkan require specific characters, or they require something that this character that you end up buying may actually have value in. So the more characters you have in Dokkan will always be better. It's just it's just the way it is. Again, if you don't care for every character in your box, or if you don't care for every character on this list, that's completely understandable, right? Like, let's say your favorite character in the game is Spirit Bomb Absorbed Goku, right? You don't care about anyone else. You play the game for him, then buy dupes for him, right? You play the game how you want to. I think it's just worth letting you know that if you're someone who's after a better box, or a more valuable box, or increasing the value of your account, it's definitely and always will be more beneficial for you to get a new character rather than buying a dupe for a specific character. But I'm not telling you what to do. You enjoy the game how you want to. I'm just laying down the facts for you. Let's move on to the next one. This next one is a massive misconception. It's a very simple one, but it's a way for players, and I've done this too, and I know you've done this too, okay? But it's a way for us to justify spending Dragonstones, and it's not a healthy way of doing it. Let me explain how this works. So what many people will say, watch this, right? You know what? Let me go ahead and do my quick multi-summit, my quick discounted multi on Boo here. It's only 35 Dragonstones. I still have another event that I can get 40 Dragonstones, so all I'm doing is just spending 35, I'm getting 40 back, I'm profiting 5 Dragonstones, right? I mean, listen, I'm getting my Dragonstones back, right? What could be so bad about that? And the answer is no, you're not getting your Dragonstones back. You want to know why? Because if you spend 35 and you get 40, what ends up happening is, yes, there's a difference of 5 Dragonstones, but you could have had 75 instead of the 40 that you now have. So even if you know what, let's use easier numbers. Let's say you have 50 Dragonstones in your account, and there's 100 Dragonstones in the gift box. If you spend 50 Dragonstones and then collect your 100 stones in the box, you now have 100 stones in here, right? Because you spent the 50. That doesn't mean you got your stones back, and now you have, I guess, essentially 2 times that amount. No. You're still down 50 Dragonstones. You would have had 150. Would have had 150. No matter what you do in this game, the moment you spend a Dragonstone, you will forever be down that Dragonstone. If you spend 1 Dragonstone on stamina, I don't care how many stones you get on the next event that you do, you will always be down that 1 Dragonstone. That is a mindset and a trick that we use to justify summoning, and I get it, okay? It helps us feel comfortable with purchasing stuff or spending stones or summoning. I understand it, but it's not a healthy way of going about it, because what you're doing is justifying losing Dragonstones just to get Dragonstones back that you would have had more if you just didn't spend in the first place, right? Doesn't make sense. It's not true. Don't think like that, because it's just going to result in the same problem that you've probably been having, which is saving Dragonstones, right? It's just not the way it works. You can play the game how you want, but you will always be down the Dragonstones. I have spent thousands of Dragonstones in the life of this account here, right? I could have 9,000 now, but hey, I mean, I could have had 50,000, I could have 20,000, right? I will always be down for the rest of your life. You will always be down the Dragonstones that you spent. I don't care what you get back. I don't care what you do. It doesn't really matter. All right. And I will say every Dragonstone does matter. I have literally, I can still remember it during the 5th year anniversary. I think it was the 4th year actually, where I only had 1 stone left that I needed, 1 Dragonstone left that I needed to do my last multi on the Super Saiyan 4's banner. But I completed everything in the game up until that point. And I was free to play all the way back then. So it's like at that point, no, I think that was the 4th year or 3rd year. It was one of the anniversaries where I needed an extra stone or 2 or 3 to do a multi, and I instantly regretted, doing singles or summoning a few weeks before or a month before, whatever the case was, right? Every Dragonstone that you spend matters. I don't care if it's 1 stone, 5 stones, whatever the case is, it matters. And Dokkan will show that to you in a week's time, a month's time, a year's time, or a decade's time, because this game is goated. It's going to last forever, obviously, right? Every Dragonstone matters, and every stone that you spend will always be a stone that you can never, ever, ever get back. I don't know what number we're on, but let's move on to the next one. The next few aren't super important, but they're things that I have learned and can definitely help you when you're grinding in Dokkan. Now, if you didn't know, when you rank up in Dokkan, what ends up happening is that your stamina completely refills. I can't obviously show it to you because my rank is completely maxed, but what I want you to understand, is that there are times where your XP bar, let's say, is super close to ranking up, which means the next stage that you do will get you all the way to the next rank, but your stamina may end up being halfway or more than half or almost completely filled up, which means that if you go into a stage and complete it and rank up and your stamina has already been maxed, you just wasted a lot of stamina that you could have used before ranking up again. So what you can do is hop in, let's say you're link leveling, because this is extremely effective for link leveling. You can hop into a stage, you can do whatever you want, you can hop in with your own characters that you want to use, it doesn't really matter, and before you actually complete the stage, once you beat the final boss, just exit out of the event. The links that you got will still be applied to your character, but what will happen is your stamina will deplete, but you will not gain any XP. So you can still get a few link leveling runs out of your stamina bar, all the way till you have basically no stamina left, but still enough to do one more run, because you don't want to spend a Dragonstone to replenish your stamina, right? Especially when you're so close to ranking up. So let's say super difficulty costs 25 here, right? Maybe I have 27 stamina left. What I'll do is, okay, 27 left. If I do one more run, I'm gonna have 2 left after that. I don't want to have 2 left because now I'm gonna have to use a stone to replenish. So what I'll do is, since I only have 27 stamina left, I'll hop into a stage, I'll beat the final boss, I'll rank up completely, and now I have a full set of stamina instead of just simply having a full stamina bar, ranking up, and still having a full stamina bar where you could have used that stamina bar to get a few extra link levels in or get a few extra grinds in without actually having you spend a Dragonstone for replenishing your stamina. Definitely a useful trick if you like to grind a lot and you just want to save as many Dragonstones as possible. So please be aware of that. Please, be aware of how close you are to actually ranking up. And if you can ever save a Dragonstone, it's definitely going to be useful in the long run. Like I mentioned before, every single Dragonstone is important. Let's move on to the next one. If you're someone who likes to do things at a very fast pace or like to save your time when grinding, this will definitely be a useful tool for you, and something I discovered really late into my quote-unquote Dokkan, I don't know what you want to call it, Dokkan career, I don't really know. But there was a scenario on and a scenario off button that I really didn't even notice existed until, again, like maybe last year or 2 years ago, something like that. And someone pointed it out to me on stream, and maybe this is the case for you, right? Scenario on and scenario off, what it does is plays a little story when you're grinding the game. If I click it on, if I turn it on and actually hop into the stage here, you will see that immediately a little story dialogue will play. And if you have full auto on, it's gonna take a while for you to actually get through. I mean, you can skip it, cool, but it's still something that doesn't need to actually be there. So if you don't care about the story at all and just want to hop straight into the actual event, you can abandon quest roll. Let me just abandon the quest here. You can go over to scenario on and turn it off. And when you hop back into the event here, you have absolutely no dialogue and you can play the game without having any of the annoying stuff pop up. The next 2 tips, which I'll probably consolidate into this one, without having actually to cut again. The next one will do, or has to do, with Elder Kais, alright? And Elder Kais, there's definitely a meme of using Elder Kais on characters that have a free-to-play super attack grind, and I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I get super lazy, sometimes I'm super tired. I get it, it is what it is, right? But if we're being completely honest with each other, Elder Kais are one of the more valuable resources in the game. So it doesn't really, at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense to use Elder Kais for characters who have a completely free super attack grind. And for players who are new, you're probably asking, what do you mean by that? And let me go ahead and explain it to you, right? So, for example, let me just go to character list. Let's say a character like God Goku and God Vegeta, right? There is no character in the game. There is no free-to-play God Goku and God Vegeta in the game. Which means that if I wanted to go ahead and raise the super attack of this character from 1 to 10, I have no choice but to use Elder Kais or the Sleeping Kais or the STR specific Kais. I have to use a Kai of some sort to raise their super attack. But there are characters that you can get their super attack up for free because there is a free-to-play version of that character in the game. So you're probably asking, Mr. Baby, what do you mean? Let me give you a quick example. Let's say Goku, right? There's a lot of free-to-play Gokus in the game, but there's also many free-to-play Super Saiyan Gokus in the game, which means that if you pull a new Super Saiyan Goku from summoning, you don't actually have to use Kais to get him up. You can use free-to-play Gokus in the game. Now, there's many free-to-play Gokus, free-to-play Super Saiyan Gokus around Dokkan, but just to quickly show you, give you a quick example here, if I go to it, actually, do I have it, maybe I can show you really quickly with progress. Yeah, so I farmed up the super attack of some of these characters recently here. Don't question why I have all these Gokus. It's not really important for this video, okay? But let me just go over here. So there is, if I go into the Incredible Gem Shop, there is a few characters in here, but most notably, there is a free Super Saiyan Goku that costs 100 green gems. You can buy this character and then feed him into, that's exactly what I did, by the way, to this Goku and to this Goku, but feed him in to another Super Saiyan Goku and raise his super attack from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3 and so on and so forth, okay? But one thing to really keep in mind for, again, new players, if you can skip this if you already understand this, but a really quick tip for completely new players. When you're trying to grind the super attack of a character, if the character if it's the same exact character, then you can stack the super attack, the super attack effect, if you will. So what do I mean by that? You see how this Goku has super attack 5 out of 5? And this Goku also has 4 out of 5. So if I go to train, I click on this character who has SA 5 out of 10, and click on this copy, you see that it automatically goes from super attack 5 to super attack 9. It raises by 4 because this Goku has an SA of 4, so 5 plus 4 equals 9. The only reason why that works is because these are literally two of the same exact character. However, obviously the Super Saiyan Goku I just showed you in the Incredible Gem Shop here, right? This Super Saiyan Goku, where is he? This one right here is not the same Goku as this Super Saiyan Goku or this Super Saiyan Goku, which means that way I just showed you with this free-to-play Goku here, it's not the same. It's not going to work like that. Every single time you feed in an individual copy of the Goku I showed you in the Baba Shop to this Goku, it'll only raise by 1. So if you buy that Goku, get him to Super Attack 5, and feed him into this one, if it works, it's only going to get him to 2. It's not going to bring him to 5 or to 6 or anything like that because it's a different character. And it's only going to go up by 1 at a time. And on top of that, if I were to buy that Super Saiyan Goku and feed him in as an SSR to another Goku like this one right here, since he's SSR only, you're going to have a 50% chance of raising this super attack up. However, if you take that same SSR Goku and turn him into a TUR Goku, UR Goku, that'll increase his super attack chances to literally 100%, meaning that when you feed him in, it'll be guaranteed to, level up to the next super attack level, if you will. That's, again, with just characters that have the same name, but they're just two different characters, right? This is Super Saiyan Goku, and this Goku is also, a Super Saiyan Goku. So if I had this Goku, and I was feeding him into the other Goku, at SSR, that's a 50% chance to raise a super attack up. But if I turn this Goku into the UR Goku, I don't have to awaken him to UR, but just, you know, literally, sorry, I don't have to Dokkan awaken him, but you have to awaken him to his UR state where it has the UR at the top. All you gotta do is then figure this copy in, and now it'll be 100% chance, okay? So that's a very important tip when it comes to awakening characters or leveling up super attack. I've seen, and I've actually been the victim. I don't want to say victim, but I have been. Let me see if I can. I just want to show you a quick example here, because it's just super important. It's just super important that you really understand the concept or what I'm trying to show you here. Let me actually go to my box. Let's go to SSRs. I'm sorry, this is taking a little bit long to show you, but I just think it's super important. All right, so that's why I'm taking the time here to show you exactly what I mean. Actually, okay, this is a perfect example. You see this blue Goku right here? Again, he's not awakened because I'm waiting to farm super attack for him. I think I have his medals ready. Actually, do I? No, I don't. Okay, I don't really care. So this is an an SSR blue Goku, right? I also have another blue Goku here. They share the exact same name. So I can feed this Goku into this Goku to try and raise his super attack up. So if I go to growth, I click on this Goku and click on this right here, you see 50% chance. 50% chance. It's the same name, but not the same character, so it's 50% chance. But if I were to go here, do this, right? Train him up, awaken him. There you go. Now he's a UR. I don't have to train him up anymore. It doesn't really matter. Just now he's a UR. If I go back to this Goku and click on super attack, or where do you go? It's because I clicked on, here we go. Yeah. You will see now it's 100% chance because he has been awakened into a UR. It's a guaranteed thing, okay? So just go ahead and keep that in mind. Hopefully you understand now. What's the last thing I wanted to mention when it comes to, oh yeah, there's a lot of events in the game that offer literally free Kais. And by free Kais, I mean you hop into one of these story events, let's say Evil Revived, the most fearsome Majin, and you go down to stage 5, for example. There is a treasure item called the Gourmet Chocolate. You grind this up. You need 70, by the way. You go into the exchange shop, and boom, you'll see the Gourmet Chocolate option here, and there's free Kais you can buy right here. Grinding free Kais will always be super valuable, and you are simply playing yourself if you are not taking advantage of the opportunity to grind these Kais. Alright? Free Kais are super valuable, and yes, these Kais will reset. So when this event goes away and it comes back, these Kais will again be available in the shop for purchase, which means that you can grind 70 now, and then grind 70 tomorrow, and then grind 70 the next day. You'll have 210 of these. When this event comes back, you'll be able to buy it without actually having to grind anything, because you already pre-farmed all the chocolates that you actually need. So if you have nothing to do in the game, and there is an event that's available that actually allows you to buy Kais, go ahead and take advantage of it. I have a video on my channel showing you all the events and all the ways to grind Kais and Dokkan, and it's one of those that I just think it's super valuable for you to actually, again, I can't go over that in this video, but again, it's super important for you to understand, all right? And I believe the last thing I have that I want to cover here is rerolling. And I'm not going to lie to you, rerolling makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense. It just depends on what you're looking for. If all you care about in Dokkan is summoning, and you want to have a nice summon experience, and you really want the new characters, then yeah, go ahead, re-roll your account. By re-rolling, I mean just, deleting your account, or just deleting the game, hopping back in, making a completely new account, go through the tutorial, and get those Dragonstones, and then continue summoning, right? Re-rolling is just, again, if you know what re-rolling is, if you don't, it's just, again, deleting the game, making a new account, or having a new account, and summoning and doing that over and over and over again until you pull the character that you actually want. And I understand that, right? It's a really hype character. You want to do that? Sure, go ahead, have fun. But where the issue comes is when you actually want to build a really good account, and you continuously re-roll month after month, 2 months after 2 months, 3 months after 3 months, it's like you reroll every single time because the new hype release just really captivates you. And what you'll notice is it's a lot of times a problem just maintaining your Dragonstones, saving your Dragonstones. We know anniversary, worldwide celebration, New Year's, a lot of hype stuff releases. So if you're just not saving your Dragonstones for those moments, and you have a habit of re-rolling, your account is never going to get to a point where it's actually really good, where you can beat events and you can, have a really strong, good-looking account. If you re-roll constantly or have a re-rolling, habit, it's going to be hard for you to build an account, and you're just never really going to be satisfied with yourself at the end of the day. Because Dokkan is a game that just releases hype character after hype character, year after year. So if you, let's say you really like Boo, and you re-roll for him and you actually pull him, cool, now what, right? You grind your account and go through all the hardships of a new account, and then LR Kid Boo drops. And what happens? You have no stones? Re-roll again. What happens to all of that effort and time you put in before? It just doesn't make sense if you care about having a good account. If you don't, do what you gotta do. Have fun, re-roll, knock yourself out the park, right? Cool, whatever. But if you care about having a new account, you're going to have to go through the hardships of not pulling what you want and having to wait until they return, or having to wait until you can pull them, or whatever the case is. Dokkan is a game where you're not going to get everything that you want when you want it. So let's not act up. Let's act grown. All right. Let's act, and let's understand that we're not going to get what we want. Like I mentioned before, the game doesn't owe you everything. If you get shafted, take it with the chin and move on. Okay. And just to touch up on it once again, with the whole expectation thing, when it comes to games like this, just just be careful with what you expect. Be careful with what you expect. You are not going, if you have high expectations, you're just never going to enjoy the game. You're going to continuously bash the game. You're going to be like, oh my god, this game sucks. Why does the game do this? Why does the game do that? I am someone where when a new celebration begins, I don't expect jack. I don't. Let me tell you this, right? When JP Dokkan got the Super 17 campaign, right? And MVP, the physical MVP 17 got his EZA, my brain automatically assumes that Global will not get that. So when we do get his EZA, I'm very, very happy. Look, hey, we got our new MVP 17 EZA. I'm happy because I didn't even expect it to release. But if you're someone who expects him to get an EZA and then a global first EZA or something crazy like that, and it doesn't happen, you're just not going to enjoy the game. It's crazy, right? It's like your enjoyment is completely dependent on the way you perceive the game. And if that's the case, why have high why it's a game. It's meant for you to actually just sit down and enjoy. It's not worth having a headache about it. It's not worth crying about it. I mean, listen, I shouldn't even say that, because if I lose my account, I might shed a tear or two. I get that. But the point is, when it comes to expectations, it's not worth all that hassle. It's really, really not. Just lower your expectations. Don't expect anything. So that way, when you do get something, you're happy. And it's honestly, it's the same thing for life, dude. If you expect someone to give you $100 and they give you $5, you're like, bro, what is this? Get this out of my face. Who wants that? But if you don't expect anything, if you do something out of the kindness of your heart, and then someone gives you something for that when you didn't expect it, even if it's like $1, you're like, oh wow, thank you. I didn't really, like, thank you for that. I didn't really want anything, but I appreciate it. It's crazy how you can go from not wanting $5 to appreciating $1, when all that has to change is the way you think about something. Hopefully you enjoyed. Super long video, but it's just worth to get all of this out of the way. Dokkan is an amazing game, but a lot of it is dependent on how you perceive the game and how you choose. It's a choice. Having high expectations is a choice. It may be a habitual choice, but it's still a choice at the end of the day. So how you choose to interact with the game, how you choose to think about the game, will have a greater impact on your enjoyment of the game than even getting shafted, whether you believe it or not. So hopefully you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. And if you have any other things I missed out on, then please go ahead and comment them in the comment section below. And I mean, there's when it comes to making videos like this, there's always something I forget, right? So if there's anything I forgot, please comment it in the comment section below, and then I'll pin it, and other people can get exposed to that, because these are things that I think everyone deserves to know. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.